Giannis just made a major announcement about his future with the Milwaukee Bucks, and it has every NBA team in the league watching, especially the New York Knicks. He did a sit-down interview with the New York Times where he spoke about a lot of things, including his future with the Milwaukee Bucks. We're going to break down exactly what he said and why the internet is ablaze because of his remarks. We're going to cover all of this and so much more today on the Knicks Digest. It's no secret, the rumors about Joel Embiid headed to the New York Knicks have been the constant rumor all offseason, especially as things in Philadelphia get worse with the James Harden situation. But now, thanks to this bold statement that Giannis made in the interview that he did with the New York Times, this may change everything for the New York Knicks and other teams looking to add Joel Embiid. According to Giannis, the key statement that he made in that sit-down interview that he did with the New York Times was the following about his future with the Bucks and signing an extension. According to Giannis, I would not be the best version of myself if I don't know that everybody's on the same page. Everybody's going for a championship. Everybody's going to sacrifice time away from their family like I do. And if I don't feel that, I'm not signing. What a statement by Giannis here. He gives us an update about his status with Milwaukee, about signing an extension, and he basically stated that if everybody in Milwaukee is not on the same page as he is in regards to winning championships, then he is not going to be a Milwaukee Buck for much longer. And you know what? Milwaukee has a window here now. They have to and must always be in the running or the conversation for a championship. Because if they fail to get there again this year, if they don't get to at least the Eastern Conference Finals this year, then I think they're pushing Giannis out the door. And I think that leaves them open, folks, for a lot of other teams to put their money in and see if they could get Giannis on their team. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. If Giannis is available, forget the Knicks. Every single NBA team on this planet is going to try to see what it would take to add him. Not only the New York Knicks, but every team. Now, obviously, everybody, including myself, everybody watching this channel, of course, too, would agree that we would be cheering him on to come to New York for a number of reasons. Because if he came here, not only would he be the most dominant star to play for the New York Knicks, probably since Walt Clyde Frazier, let's get that right, but he would likely increase the Knicks championship odds from here, maybe about 50% to about 90%. Former MVP of the league 2 times. You talk about anybody stopping him? You need a wall to stop Giannis. There's not a man alive that can stop Giannis. He's too strong. And if he's driving and running to the rim, you better just back away. Because if you even try or attempt to get in front of him, I feel bad for any part of your body that Giannis hits. Do you see how chiseled that man is? He's basically made of stone. If you hit Giannis, there's a problem for you. You're getting out of the way if he's driving to the rim. That's what he gives you. You know how unstoppable that is? Do you know how good he is? Of course you do. I don't have to explain to you what a 2-time MVP of the NBA is. I don't have to explain to you what a former MVP of this league can do and what he's been doing, what he continues to do. He continues to get better. Even his free throw shooting, which has been poor throughout his entire career, even that has gotten better. He's an MVP type of player that is continuing to get better and elevate his game. There is not many players on this planet with the mindset, the ability, and just the structure and build of this man Giannis, and the passion that he has to win a championship and to make the people around him want to win a championship, want to be better players. That's the person you need in your organization. Because I can count on my fingers how many more Giannis's in the league we're going to see in maybe the next 10, 20 years. and it's still only one. Say what you want to say about Giannis, but I think that man and his talent, his skill set, and what he's done in the NBA, maybe he didn't start out as a generational talent, but what he's displayed over his career, that's generational. That's talent. That is something that we've never seen before. He's a monster. But with all eyes focused on Joel Embiid in New York, the question comes, would the Knicks add the Greek Freak if he was available? Now, I'm not saying if he was available and Joel Embiid was available and it was a Joel Embiid versus Giannis. I'm just saying, if Giannis was available, would the New York Knicks shift their gaze to Giannis instead of Joel Embiid? Is that even a question? Who's the best player in the league right now by far? I think you can make the argument it's Giannis. So is Giannis's availability going to throw a wrench into Joel Embiid headed to the Knicks? Absolutely. Because if Joel Embiid is on the table and Giannis is on the table, I think the Knicks are going to go for Giannis. But even if that didn't matter, even if Joel Embiid is still figuring out his situation in Philadelphia and the Knicks are still watching that situation, if Giannis becomes available, everybody's eyes, including Leon Rose's eyes, are shifting to Giannis and the situation happening in Milwaukee, if that's the case. Because I promise you, the New York Knicks are going to be interested. They're going to want to be involved. And they're one of the teams that have the asset haul to get a Giannis. And they would likely throw everything and more to get Giannis. And I'm sorry if you have to hear this, folks, but a lot of the young players on this team, probably RJ Barrett as well too, is gone. If you trade for Giannis, RJ Barrett, a lot of the young players, all of your picks are gone. Two-time former MVP of the league, still one of the best players in the NBA. In my opinion, he's probably the best player in the NBA, although you can make an argument and a case for some other players, and I don't mind having that discussion, but this is just my opinion right now. When you're arguably the best player in the league, you are going to pay a price to get that player on your team. And it's likely going to mean gutting your team. And then people ask me, is it worth adding Giannis if you have to gut your team? That's an interesting question because I think Giannis wouldn't want to come to a team if you have to gut it. So I think Giannis may, and I'm not sure about this, but if he's so frustrated in Milwaukee, maybe he forces his way out of Milwaukee. And if he does that, maybe he puts the power in the team that he's going to's hand by stating, I only want to go to that team and nowhere else. This Dame situation has caused a wrinkle here. Because even though Dame doesn't have control over where he goes, he kind of does, right? Because he's openly telling everybody else where he wants to go. So all teams know that even if they add him, there's no guarantee he's going to stay or he's going to be happy. And they know he wants to only go to one place. So why would you trade for him? And I think that if Giannis does the same thing with Milwaukee, he may be able to force his hand and force a trade to wherever he wants to go. And other teams around the league may know what his preferred destination is and may back up because of that reason. With this new CBA, teams are going to have to be very cautious. They're not going to go ahead and add even superstar players if there's not at least some type of deal under the table guaranteeing in some way that they're going to re-sign with that team. Because if not, you could really mortgage your future for a long time, and it would take you a long time to build it back if you trade away everything for a player like Giannis or Joel or somebody like that caliber. So you have to be careful with who you trade for. That's why I think Leon Rose and the Knicks are looking at specific players like Joel Embiid because of the connections there. Because they believe the connections are what's going to keep the player there. Because they can keep the player there with everything else they believe, especially with the market. They can sell all of that. But if the player wants to be there and there's a connection there already, it makes the Knicks more willing to make that move and sign that player because they have more of an assurance that that player will stick around for the long run. Signing somebody who doesn't want to be part of the team, like if you sign Dame, you know Dame wants to go to Miami. You know he's not going to be happy. Is that going to affect his play? Is he going to play poorly? Is he not going to play happy and that's going to affect his play anyways? We don't know. But teams are going to think about that and it's going to lead to them not wanting to trade for that particular player. And I think he's caused a particular wrinkle here in the league because other players now of his caliber might take advantage of that spot and do the same thing. So there's always some type of caveat with every type of trade. And just because you think you control a player and where he goes doesn't mean that player doesn't have a say. So that's why it's interesting to bring up the Giannis situation here, because I do feel like if Giannis is frustrated enough and winning does not become the forefront of what happens in Milwaukee and they don't compete for a championship each and every year, I do feel like Giannis will ask out. He's basically stated here as well, too, that he's either going to not sign an extension if he doesn't see things going in that direction with Milwaukee, or even if he does and that doesn't happen, he can still ask out, request a trade, and go to another team to try to see if he can do it with somebody else. So a lot of things are still on the table here. This statement is major because it tells you that even Giannis, one of the best players in the league, is not loyal only to a team. He's loyal to winning. He's loyal to championships. He wants that. So just like Joel Embiid said a few weeks ago, he wants to win, whether that's in Philadelphia or someplace else. Remember, and I think Giannis feels the exact same way. He just wants to win, whether that's in Milwaukee or someplace else. And I know a lot of people who are watching, myself included, hope that that someplace else will eventually be the New York Knicks. If you like this video and you think Giannis can become a Knick one day, go ahead and leave a comment below. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. But until next time, Knick fans, peace.